This is episode 177 of the Andrew Hines Real Estate Investing Podcast. Welcome to episode 177 of the Andrew Hines Real Estate Investing Podcast. Today, I have Mat Piche back on the show for the third time. And Mat Piche is such a wealth of knowledge. I've got to have him on at least once a year to just share what he's been up to because it's hard to keep up with this guy. He's one of the most accomplished investors that I've had on the show consistently. And he's just always doing something else and always seeming to be winning at it. So on this show, we covered investing in Florida, what Matt's doing in Naples, what he's doing in Cape Coral. We went through a case study of an Airbnb that he's planning on starting. We talked about what's going on in the market and how that's affecting Matt's business. So for those who have followed Mat Piche, you know that he's into wholesaling, he's into flipping, he's into the long-term holds, he's into everything in between. And he does it, and he seemingly does it all well. Matt talked about on this episode how when he found out that his wife was pregnant just over a year ago, that he decided that he was going to have to make changes in his life, and he expanded his team from about 3 people up to over 10 people. And he really removed himself from the process. So now he can look in on his business and look in on his operations, but he's not involved in the day-to-day. He mentioned to me that he's sort of on a paternity leave, and he's able to spend time with his son as he grows up, which I think is probably a lot of fathers' dreams. And Matt has put it into action. Like I said, Matt is a winner. He just consistently wins. And that's something that we could all take something from. And one of the big takeaways from this episode, I believe, is that you can't spend too much time in analysis. You do have to take action. And that's one of the things that Matt specifically mentioned at the end of the episode, is that a lot of people just sit around and they analyze too long when they need to just jump in and take some action. And I really couldn't agree more. Of course, analysis is needed, and we've all got to make very deliberate decisions when it comes to investing, but we can't sit on the sidelines too long. We have to make sure that we make moves and get in. So you know the drill when it comes to social media. If you could hit all those buttons and leave comments. And of course, with the reviews on Apple Podcast, it would be greatly appreciated if you give it 5 stars and leave a review just to help more people find the show. I appreciate everyone who's already taken the time to do that. And if you're new to the podcast, I highly recommend going right back to the beginning, as I always say, because there's just so many great investors that have been on the show and shared their wisdom. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump in to episode 177 with Mat Piche. Please enjoy. Hello and welcome to the Andrew Hines Real Estate Investing Podcast. I've got Mat Piche back again. I think this is the 3rd time.
Yeah.
So
good to be back.
Yeah, it's great having you. Thanks for driving up again.
Thank you.
It's so much better doing this in the actual
person,
studio.
Yes,
yeah, I don't like Zoom. We've been doing a lot of Zoom lately, but
Zoom
it's good
works, but this is way better.
This is way better. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Matt, you're like famous for always being, so busy doing a million different things.
Yeah.
So why don't you just give the quick recap of who you are, what you do for anyone who's new and hasn't heard you speak before.
What are we doing now, man? A lot of stuff. We're a realtor specializing with investors in Kitchener-Waterloo. We're flipping houses in Kitchener-Waterloo. I've had over 45 rental properties, recently sold them off with, the peak or the boom of the market. So kind of cashed out all of our money there. We're starting to invest in the US now, down in Florida. We're kind of getting the ball rolling for that. Investing in stock options and stocks, crypto. I think we're everywhere.
Just everything. And what I've noticed is you're big on systems, big on teams.
Yeah.
And I know you didn't start that way, right? You were doing everything yourself to start, all your videos, right? You were kind of built off the YouTube model.
Yeah.
Built your awareness and started as a carpenter, right?
Yeah.
Were you doing YouTube videos as a carpenter?
Yeah. So back when I started, I was a carpenter. This is going way back. I started as a carpenter, and then I started renovating properties just for investors in Kitchener-Waterloo, even before I was a realtor. So I kind of started, building my name around that. I was investing myself at age 22, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. A lot of my clients I was working with for renovations were like, Matt, I wish you were a realtor. Like, you know how to renovate, you know how to attract quality tenants. I wish you were a realtor because my realtors don't know how to do this. So I became a realtor, and then just kind of snowballed from there. That's how it all started.
And you were cranking out content like crazy. Like how many videos were you doing a week back then?
Yeah, so even back then I was doing my own videos while renovating clients' properties, shooting camera, hammering stuff.
So just never stopping.
Yeah, never stopping. I always knew from the beginning that YouTube or social media was going to be something. Yeah. I knew it was kind of my angle because even when I started as a realtor, I didn't have the money to spend on billboards and newspaper ads or whatever. So I had to do my own thing. And being 22, I was more savvy with social media, and I kind of knew hopefully this was a trend that was going to keep going. So I got on early and just doubled down there for free marketing. And it really, really worked out.
Yeah, and now you're still doing it. You're still like 3 videos a week or something like that?
Yeah, 2 or 3 videos a week, depending how much we're cranking out. But that's kind of the goal, is 2 a week.
That's wild.
Yeah,
and you have
a lot
like
of stuff, man.
Full-time media guy or team probably around that now.
Yeah, full-time media. We have 13 employees for like the whole team, like the renovations, assistants.
Is that the wholesaling manager, as well?
Wholesaling, like the whole team, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, when did you see that change really coming? Like, where you were just really a solo operation? Like, what was the first step where, okay, I'll never look back?
Yeah. I dragged my feet for hiring people, because I was always like, I'll just do it myself. Right? Like, nobody can do it as good as me. I'll just do it. Or like, nobody can do it as fast as me. I'll just do it. It's a total mistake. Total mistake. And it wasn't until my coach finally told me, like, you need to hire someone. Like, you're definitely past the point. You're doing all this work, like 12 hours a day, every day, trying to do everything, record videos, edit videos, show properties, hammer properties. Like, it was just ridiculous. So I finally hired my first person, who was the social media manager, do all the social media and the editing and the posting. That was like amazing. It was literally life-changing as soon as I hired him. And that's kind of what snowballed. I was like, okay, well, if I just save that much time from hiring this one person, what if I hire someone else? So my next hire was a project manager. Instead of me driving around to Home Depot, picking up materials and dropping them off, I hired her to manage all the properties. That was also like life-changing. And then I was just like, man, this is amazing. Like,
when were these hires chronologically?
About 3-4 years ago. So like,
so you were solo. Man. Like, the first time you came on the podcast, was that like shortly after you just started kind of hiring it out?
Yeah, it was shortly after. Like, I think at that time, the first podcast, I maybe had 1 or 2 employees, maybe at that time. So
yeah, it makes a big difference. And I kind of had similar. So I got my assistant hired a couple of months ago. Yeah. And then it was a new media guy right after. Sure. And it was beyond that, I got an operations manager as well. So it's just like, it's addictive. It's addictive hiring because you realize 100%. how much time, exactly how much time it saves. Now, the hard part of that is the investment. So how do you justify it to yourself when you hire these new people? Is it just so obvious? You see how much you're making on the income side. You're just like, I just need to
It's kind of obvious, especially while flipping houses. Like, we're making a gigantic income. So it's like, okay, it makes sense to hire these people. Yeah. But I have a loose financial spreadsheet in my mind. Like, okay, this is what we're bringing in every month. I can totally afford to spend this on hire this person. It saves me time, so I can do more of this. Yeah. So it all makes sense, but you do have to watch like the top line for sure.
Okay. So do you have it in your head exactly what your monthly spend is on?
Pretty much. I'm pretty nerdy with that stuff. So it's like all in here, but I don't really know until tax time, which is always fun. When we do the taxes and do all the expenses, and I'm like, okay, this is what I make.
You see what they cost you.
Or no, I didn't make that much or whatever, right? So
yeah. And then you write those painful checks.
Yeah, 100%. The most painful checks are the CRA checks. Those are the most painful.
Yeah, they're your joint venture partner that did nothing and risked nothing.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, so you've got that going on. It's obviously making a ton of sense to hire people. That's freed up tons of your time, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So what are you doing now? Like, what are your prime activities now on a day-to-day? I mean, doing stuff like this is part of it.
Yeah, totally. So my whole job now is really like social media, just getting the awareness out, still building kind of the brand. Because for me, like in my mind, the YouTube and the brand, the bigger that is, that means everything gets bigger. Mm-hmm. So I attract more partners, I attract more clients, I get more property, I get more deals, more people know me. So if I spend most of my time on YouTube and just like growing the audience, that will trickle down to all the other areas of my business, really. So my whole job right now is really just growing the brand and just managing the key problems in the business. I put out the major fires.
Yeah, so you're still oversight, but you don't have to get involved on a daily.
Yeah, I kind of oversee every aspect of the business, the realtor side, the flipping side, the client management side of the renovations. And I just kind of manage and make sure everything's flowing good. And whenever there's a big problem, I just kind of put it out.
Yeah, what kind of, like, give me an example of something you'd have to step in for.
Like a flip is not selling fast enough, or a major decision in a flip. Something came up in the renovation that's bigger than expected. I got to make a choice of what to do.
Okay.
But, very rarely, like most of the time, the team knows exactly what they're doing. Very rarely do I have to put a fire out. But when there is, that's kind of when I step into the business.
Okay, so if there's turnover in key positions, do you have like best practices, manuals, and procedures being made, or is it just like the team is kind of educating the team?
The team's kind of educating the team. The only one I have like manuals for and scripts or whatever is the wholesaler, like our acquisition manager. That's the only one where there's like a template. Yeah. But even that, because the first project manager or acquisition manager I hired needed more education or teaching. The second one was already a very educated and active wholesaler himself. So he just came in right in. So he didn't really need the manuals and stuff like that. So most of my team members are already, I guess, experienced in with the roles they were already in before, right? So they just kind of like came in smoothly.
Okay. And wholesale wise, you're still focused on that in KW, or
Yeah.
is that's all kind of this region?
Yeah, so we do 1 hour radius of Kitchener-Waterloo for wholesaling and flipping. So we're just concentrated really on that area.
And the partners you're mentioning, are you taking those partners on for flips, or are those for rentals? You're not doing rentals anymore.
Yeah, not really doing too many rentals now, but I will still do some if they come up. But the partners are really only for the rental side.
Okay.
The flipping, we just do private money. It makes way more sense. So we just raise private funds for that.
Yeah. And is that coming through your network, like your YouTube as well?
Yeah, 100%.
Really?
More Instagram really is the lending side. So,
Really? How do you find that like kind of funnels in? Like, is it just people reaching out to you and saying they want to get involved in this?
Yeah, pretty much. Or we have like ad videos or like promo videos, I guess you could say, on Instagram. Just say like, hey, if you want to lend to me, let me know, or go to this list, really. And they sign up to the list. And then whenever we buy a new property, I just bang the list. Hey guys, we just bought 123 Main Street in Kitchener.
Yeah.
We need to raise 500 grand. Who's in? And then people just go, oh, I'll do 200 grand. I'll do 300 grand.
And are these like just paper, or are they like mortgages? Like what is it?
It's just paper promissory notes, mostly for the flips. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because they want the higher interest rate.
That's the scalable model.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're doing that here. Obviously, all the systems are still set up. Like, how does it affect you knowing that it's still a seller's market, but less of a seller's market than it was, and trending in the less
neutral,
and less
or exactly.
way?
Yeah. Now it's interesting. Now we're kind of waiting and watching. We're really focusing on the flips that we do have at the moment right now. Yeah. But right now we're kind of just watching. We're not really buying anything unless it's like a really ridiculous good deal. We're like, I know for a fact, like this, we're not going to get screwed on this one. But we're definitely not buying nearly as much as we were 2 months ago.
So you don't want to be stuck with inventory that's not profitable
the worst
to
case
sell.
scenario,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, do you look at it and you make sure that these houses have a contingency, or are you comfortable even if they don't?
Yeah.
Like, do you in your head say, oh, well, if it didn't work this way, here's what I'll do as plan B, or here's what I'll do as plan C?
There is loose plan Bs, but plan A is like the 99% plan. I do not want these properties as rentals. I don't want to turn them into Airbnbs. Worst case, I don't want these. So they have to sell.
Yeah, they have to sell. So you'd even take a little bit of a hit on them to get rid of them.
I'd rather take a little hit and just get rid of a bad property than keep it and have to get a mortgage and furnish it for Airbnb or whatever, right? I'd rather get rid of it and move on to the next.
Do you have Airbnbs in your portfolio?
No. We're starting to do that in Florida. Like that's what we're kind of building now, but not in Canada. I'm kind of done buying rental properties in Canada. For me, at this point in my life, at this point in my career, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, I mean, Canada's gone crazy, which I think we've both pointed out 100%. many times. Like I've had to take a break from pointing it out too much, maybe. For sure. But so we've had a similar idea with Florida making a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Tax-wise makes a lot of sense. So tell me about what your plans are there and what you're looking at doing.
Yeah, so we bought our own second home or winter home, you could say, in Naples just recently. And we want to focus on the west side. So basically Naples up to Cape Coral is kind of where we really want to focus. Maybe Sarasota as well for flips and Airbnb. So we want to bring the whole flip division down there.
Yeah, and that's something I was going to ask you about, because I know you're going to renovate. So you bought in Naples. Yeah. I won't give the exact area, but a good area to own in Naples where you don't have homeowner associations that will restrict you from doing things. So you can, and there's really only one good area of Naples for that.
Yeah, one good area for that, and that's where we're in.
And then there's a secondary area in the south that's not as nice. So so you've got an opportunity there, but how are you creating or finding your crews down there? Obviously, that's a new team you almost need down there.
Yeah, for sure. So we're building it right now as we speak. So we found the contractor. We found someone who does all the furniture placements and helps us with all the sourcing of materials and stuff like that. Basically a project manager down there.
And this is just through calling people you can find online?
So through our Instagram, we found a couple just through posting online. And then also the realtor we're working with down there kind of hooked us up with a few people. So we're building it slowly. It'll be way smoother than it was like when I started back in 2012 in Kitchener, because now I know what I'm looking for. I know all the signs, I know all the red flags and people. So like we've already found a couple contractors and I asked them before they even started. It was like, no, this is going to be a problem. I just know it. I've been through this before. So we're smarter this time.
Yeah, just the way they talk, you can hear you can hear in their voice the answers. Like it sounds like they're not confident, or they're acting like they're just going to take your money.
Exactly. Yeah. So we know all the signs. We've been through all the crap before. So now I know what I'm looking for. So I think building this whole division down in Florida would be much smoother.
So what are your thoughts on giving deposits with these new relationships down there?
Yes, I don't like it. I don't want to do it. So the way, even here, I don't want to do it ever with contractors here. The way we do it really is I get my contractors to quote on labor only.
Yeah, and
because
then you
we're
buy
buying all the
materials. Yeah,
we're buying the flooring, we're buying the fancy taps. Like we know what we want. We already have the whole template on how to flip houses and how to build houses.
Yeah,
so we know what we're looking for. So don't worry, contractor. We'll buy all the materials. I'll have it shipped to the house. Don't worry. So there's no reason to give you money.
Deposit. Yeah,
the money's for materials. Well, I'm paying all the materials. So I just ask them to quote on labor only, and then I give them money after like 2 weeks when they start or whatever. Like I'm always
like
2 weeks ahead kind
right?
of thing.
Yeah.
Like they work first and then I pay.
Yeah,
they work first, then I pay.
I read this book and it's Paula Sajan's book. I forget the exact name. It's like Rehabber's Bible, Flipping Bible. And he just said like, who has the power in the relationship? Like you don't want them to have the power. If you give them a deposit, they have the power in the relationship. 100%. So if they're not showing up, what can you do?
Nothing.
Versus if you have the power, hey, you want to get paid for those last 2 weeks you worked? Show up.
100%. And the weird thing is, I don't know how it is in the States just yet, but I'm sure it's very similar. It's so easy for a contractor to put a lien on your property. So for example, if you don't pay them, they have so much recourse. They can slap a lien on your property in literally 2 hours. I've had it done before.
Okay. Yeah.
With refusing to pay a contractor because they did crap work. 2 hours later, I have a lien on my property, and now I have to pay if I want to sell this property and clear title. It's actually disgusting how easy they can do that. But like, what you're saying is like we have no recourse for them.
They would have to know how though, right? Like if like the typical contractor probably doesn't even know how to do that, right? Like, so the one you got probably had some experience doing that.
It was obviously like a crappy contractor.
It's happened before. Yeah.
And we had the stomach problems, like the feeling in my stomach of like, this guy's gonna do something bad. Good. Sure enough, so he did. So like we know what to look for now, but it happens even to the best of us.
I had one guy give me his insurance bond, and I do the same thing with materials. I'm like, no, I'll buy the materials. I'm not giving you a deposit, so I'll bring them. So he was in my phone as a roofer, and I'm like, I just called him because my roofer bailed on me, and so he comes over, and I didn't remember that I had actually called him before and had a bad feeling, and said, no, this guy doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing. So I brought him over. I provided the materials. They installed them all wrong. But he even sent me his insurance bond before we even started. I didn't even ask. I'm like, that's weird. It's weird that somebody sent that to me, but it wasn't properly done. And anyways, totally screwed it up. I had to rip everything off, wasted $2,500 in shingles and do it all over again.
For sure.
That was just taking my medicine though. There was nothing I could do. I'm like, hey, how do you want to deal with this? I have damages. And he's like, my lawyer will call you. Never did. I'm like, you know what? I talked to paralegals. Like, it's not worth it. It's
not worth it
for that little bit. But I hate that it's not worth it for that because
I know.
Then you get in the habit, and how many it's not worth it for that before it was actually worth it to learn how to.
100%.
Like my buddy's a lawyer, used to do small claims. And he told me, he's like, it's not hard. He keeps encouraging me. He's like, you should go after when these things happen. It's very simple. And I'm like, maybe it is worth it. You know what I mean? For people in our space, if you had somebody that specialized in that, I feel like that would be huge. Like we just do small claim stuff, just put it on, like don't expect it fast, but put it on our list and we'll take care of it.
Happens all the time. That's how my lawyer too, when this one contractor put a lien on, I obviously talked to my lawyer and he was like, like the process is simple on how to fight him for it, but it's going to take a year, 2 years, 3 years.
Be great if you could just throw it in, right?
Yeah. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, as long as you got all your, like they could just say, as long as you got all this stuff, just throw it in. I mean, obviously you and I hope that these things don't happen.
Exactly. 9 times out of 10, they don't. For sure.
Oh yeah, even more than that, I feel like. But once you got the people you
100%.
know you want to work with.
And off that's why we now hire our own employees for our contractors. That's the only way to like almost minimize the crap that you can go through is eventually, if you're busy enough, hire your own carpenters in-house. And since we've done that about a year ago, game changer, absolute game changer. Yeah,
because then they never leave your site. That's actually sort of how I started. I had my own full-time carpenter, and he would sort of act also as project manager,
for sure,
site supervisor. And oh man, we would get stuff done, like additions closed in 2 months, 2.5 months, like ready to move in. And like you can't do that kind of timeline when you're hiring subs. But I will say the work isn't as good.
Maybe not.
In that case, because he's not as good of a finished carpenter as an actual finished carpenter is.
Exactly.
He could do it, but the finished carpenter did better.
There's like pros and cons, like, but the speed is like easily the best. And the biggest thing for me is just the control of you're going here Monday morning because we bought like 3 houses on the go. You're going to go here Monday, and on Tuesday you're going to go here. So yes, Matt, no problem, because you're my employee. If you have a contractor, they might say like, well, I can't go on Tuesday because I got to go over to Susie's and finish that job I got over there. I'll be at your place on Thursday. And then they don't show up on Thursday and on and on and on. That's the typical contractor thing is like, I'll be there Thursday and then they just don't show up.
So, and I agree completely, and it's frustrating as heck. What would you say is like the expectation to hire like a full-time carpenter for that type of position nowadays, like in Southwestern
Ontario? Like price-wise or?
Yeah, like what what would someone like myself need to pay to hire somebody like that again?
Yeah, so like a good contractor, anywhere between like 30, 35 an hour. That's pretty
really
good
on
wage.
payroll. That's all it takes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For like a good carpenter, yeah, on payroll especially.
Yeah, so they kind of prefer that rather than being their own entrepreneur.
Some of them do, for sure.
Some of them do, yeah. That's what I had before, but he kind of worked something out. Now he works for his son's company. It still works for me, but I have a middleman. I wish he still worked for me. It would be great.
For sure.
So I definitely want to grab another one of those. So what's I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one asking, but what's the best way to hire somebody like that?
Through like Indeed is like how we find all of our carpenters, really. Yeah. So you post an ad on Indeed, they just reply. Kind of how we go about it.
Just grab
and like price wise, like we pay from $22 an hour up to like 35. So like our younger apprentices, right? Yeah. They're making 22, 24,
So you're getting
25.
like somebody like a journeyman carpenter for 35?
For sure. And then we're mixing it up. We have like one apprentice always with the journey to like, you know, he slugs while the journeyman does all the good stuff. So you need a couple of slugger guys and a couple of good guys.
And do you have like guys trying to get their, like they're working through the apprenticeship program? Like
we don't at the moment. I wouldn't oppose it, but I mean, I went through the whole apprenticeship program myself as a carpenter, so I know it's really a bunch of crap, really. It doesn't mean anything. So I'm not too much of a fan of like getting that whole program set up. And then my guy's going away for 2 months a year. Yeah, 2 months every year to do schooling. And then I got to pay for that or however that works. I don't even know how it works, but my guy's gone for 2 months a year. So
you don't even want that?
I don't even want that, honestly. But if one of my guys was like, Matt, I really want to be an apprentice. Can I please do it? It's like, all right, fine.
Yeah, you'd work it out. That's pretty cool. Okay, you're giving me ideas, Matt. Okay, so then still sticking with Florida. So obviously the first one is your second home. Building out your teams. What's the next step?
Next step, it was to buy just a straight Airbnb rental in like Cape Coral. So I got the one, I'm proving the concept. I got the team locked down. Now I'm going to buy another one myself in Cape Coral, prove it there that you know it's working. I got the team set up. And then I'm going to bring the partners in.
Have you lined anything up in Cape Coral yet?
Not yet. I got a couple properties sent out. I know what they're kind of going for. I know what we want or what they look like. So there's an abundant amount of them. So it's not like I'm too worried about not finding one.
Is it slowing down? Like, have you noticed it slowing down in Cape Coral as well?
From what I'm hearing from my realtor, 100% it is. Especially now that we're going to like summer season, it's just natural. It's going to slow down, which is great.
Last year it didn't though. Last couple of years, like well, at least
because of the COVID effect.
Because everybody just wanted to be in Florida.
100%. So I think that's kind of going away. Now we got the interest rates going up, inflation scares. The market's pulling back on top of that. So there is a cool down happening. I think all of North America completely.
And not necessarily prices falling, but definitely not neutralizing and definitely not going up like they were.
Definitely not. I think we're going to be flat for a little bit. We'll see what happens, but
okay, so what are you looking for in Cape Coral as far as like a property would be?
So we want a more luxe detached home. We really want a family tenant. That's our ideal tenant, is like a family, the kid, the dog, you know, they're going to stay for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month during the year. So that's our key tenant and more luxe. So we want in Cape Coral more like $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 homes. Which there you can buy like a freaking mansion. It looks literally amazing.
That would be a really nice place. So you could be pretty much on a canal with ocean access.
So we want that because the rents are coming in anywhere from 15 to 20K a month of revenue from those properties. And the cost is about 7K in expenses, 7-8K, somewhere around there, USD. So it's incredible. So we want to prove it a couple times and then start bringing the partners in and just go wild. But now, because everything's going on in the world, we're just kind of again, we're waiting and seeing what's going to happen. I'm ready to strike, but I just want to know when. Right? Is it going to be August, September, when things kind of get figured out or we know kind of where we're going? Well, then I'll strike.
I guess like a lot of it depends on how responsive both governments are to the retraction in the economy. Like obviously we're going to have some negative growth with all these interest raises. So is that going to continue, right? Are they going to keep raising interest? I think a lot of people are worried that they're going to keep raising it like another couple of points.
I think the pullback was way bigger than expected from the interest rate
Just hikes. The minor interest rate hikes.
Like the market's already like going to, blow up, it seems like. So if they're going to do it again, oh my God. Like,
and this is where I like to like question. I'm like, there's so many people who would have said, oh, the government could never do that.
I know,
But after the last 2.5 years, we're beyond all that. The government could do whatever the heck they want.
Exactly.
So if they will, then you think, like, what did they do in the 80s when inflation was out of control? And in my mind, there's really two options. You either increase interest rates into the teens to actually stop it, or you realize that that's not worth doing, and they basically decide we're just going to live with inflation.
Yeah.
Like 10% inflation.
Yeah, I think they're trying to do the best of both. They're trying to do a soft landing. Let's just raise rates
exactly.
a little
like
bit.
Stifle the economy, and then exactly. When it comes back down, then they'll just drop interest rates again and say, see, it's all fine.
They're trying to get best of both worlds. That's what I kind of predict if I make my prediction here on the Andrew podcast. Is they're going to raise rates probably again in June. Right now is May, and then they're probably going to start lowering rates in September, November, December, January. We'll see, because they're already stifling it. Like the effect is crazy already. Just with what is it? It's been 0.75% in total in Canada.
Yeah, 0.75%.
That has had gigantic effects on the market, and they want to do it again.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna see that. Okay, that was way too much. Now we got to lower it to stifle the economy again. It's just like it's a gong show.
There's a lot of emotional response to it too, right?
That's what I think it mostly is. It's just mostly emotional.
It's
the money's
so
cheap,
much
guys.
emotional. Like, I mean, if you think about, like, we get into this talk a fair bit, but it's valid right now. The forces, right? Like, there's forces in both directions. We have obviously a lack of supply here in Canada. In Florida, they also sort of have the lack of supply because the immigration to Florida is insane.
Yeah, for sure.
That is a little bit politically volatile, though, because if that were to swing blue, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people would be right on out of there. Like if Ron wasn't the governor anymore.
For sure.
Tough to say, but I mean, right now, so many people are going to Florida, and I can't see a reason why anyone would ever want to stop going to Florida, even politics aside.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place.
Great spot. Obviously, snowbirds aren't going anywhere. They're going to keep going down there.
The people in Florida, South Florida specifically, have money, right? Most of like a lot
of them do. Yeah,
money.
Naples.
They're not just like the average American. Yeah. They got money, so they're not going anywhere. They don't care about this.
Yeah, they don't care. Now, some, like, you might argue, like in Cape Coral. Maybe, but at the same time, like, I look at that as at a relative price point. Like, there's not that many markets in the U.S. that are as desirable that are that cheap.
Yeah,
like that's crazy. If you pick a value market, I can't find too many better than that. I'm sure there are, but
that's the thing. Like the $700,000 homes are like literally like mansions. Like they're pimped out. Where are you gonna get that?
So $700K, what can you get for $700K?
It's like a 4-bedroom home, looks like 2,600, 3,000 square feet, give or take. Mm-hmm. Like it's got the pool in the back, it's got the lights and the coffered ceilings. Like it's totally pimped out.
And how many years old would that be?
Like 2 years old or brand new.
For 700 even?
Yeah, 700, 800. The brand new ones are probably 800, 900 for just like now, brand new.
Yeah,
and totally like baller.
Like South Cape Coral?
The mid, South mid is what they're looking like. That's where most of them I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So
how far would you be on a canal with those?
Some of them, yes. Some of them, no.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that's pretty cheap for being on a canal of that size.
On like the 800 ones, probably not. Like on the canal, probably the million. Yeah. For the brand new ones. So it's kind of around that range.
I was thinking about that for Airbnb. Like, would people, I mean, how much is a canal really going to do for you?
We don't care. Like, I kind of want to stay away from a canal. It's just another fear thing of a kid falling in, or like whatever, right? Like another trap or whatever. So I don't really mind about those for the Airbnbs. Would I want to live on one? Yeah, I like the fresh air and the water.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. But I mean, as an Airbnb, it's like
just another risk hazard.
It's another risk, and who's gonna, if they're renting an Airbnb, they don't have a boat.
Yeah, they're not bringing their boat.
They're not bringing their boat.
They're not using my boat. I'm not buying them a boat either. So like whatever.
And you're not going to give them a boat to use, because then that's a big liability. Yeah, unless you have a company for that.
Yeah, exactly. So.
I've specifically been avoiding anything with a canal because it's just like, from my standpoint,
for something you're not going to use.
And a year right now to get a contractor to do your retaining wall.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
So like a year plus they're waiting right now. So anything I'm doing, we're just add a year to it. Plus, and maybe I get a bit more value at the back end, but I just don't think you can justify the extra wait. So
I wouldn't look at it really at all for a specific investment only.
Okay, so let's just, because I find this specifically interesting, obviously. This is relevant to me too. Because I'm planning on setting up some Airbnbs on the ones I'm building. Yeah. Similar, they're not quite as big. So I have got one that I'm keeping that's 2,200. Yeah. 3-car garage, like 750 square feet. Hot tub and pool, like overflowing into the pool.
Oh, nice. See?
Outdoor kitchen.
Yeah.
And 4 bed, 3 bath.
Yeah.
So it'll be how I stage it, though. It'll be all the things I do to make it like awesome. Yeah. So like, do you have like that vision in mind as well? Like, what are some of the things you're going to do to make it awesome?
Yeah. So we're going to go higher end on pretty much everything. So like, we've stayed in Airbnbs all over the world. So we have a firsthand experience of what most people are missing, which is really cool. Yeah. But we're going to do higher end stuff. So instead of like a crappy Ninja blender from Costco, we're going to get a Vitamix. Yeah. Instead of like a crappy coffee maker, we're going to buy a Breville espresso machine coffee maker. It's like, it's just those little things that give a luxe experience. Because I want people to drive down from Kentucky or whatever, from the northern states, drive down to this vacation home and just be like, wow, like I would never have this in my home. I would never spend the $1,000 on a coffee machine. I'm so happy it was here, right? And I want the reviews to like say that kind of stuff. So we're just going higher end on pretty much all the staging and the furniture.
Okay. Anything for the kids? You said you're going for families, so
yeah. So we just need to provide kid stuff. So like a high chair, like playpen, stuff like that. Bunk beds in the kids' rooms, like more family attracting.
High chair and like I wouldn't have even thought of that, but that's brilliant, right?
We never thought either. And then we stayed in
travel
Miami with our baby, and I was like, we don't have a high chair, so we messaged the Airbnb, and he was like, oh, just go to the store and like rent one. The renting one was like $70. We could buy a cheap one for $90, so like we just bought one. Like, damn, like people should really have these in their Airbnbs, right? So it's just things like that.
It's smart if that's who your target is. Like, why wouldn't you provide that?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say hypothetically you buy for, what do you figure you'll actually buy for that pimped out Cape Coral?
That pimped out probably like $850. Because they usually sell over value. So if they're listed for like $750, they're gonna sell for $850. Same game's happening here.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Okay, so what else are you gonna have into it? So you're gonna buy $850. How much you figure you put into it to get that up and running?
Like renovation wise, it's fully like done.
So you don't need anything.
Yeah,
okay,
like
so just furniture, like 10 grand.
So I'd say like between 20 and 30 to like really.
So you're gonna do really nice.
Yeah, nice furniture. We're going for more of like a boho style, so like really beachy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make it look sweet.
Okay, so let's work through how these numbers would work. So you're in for about $880 if we do that.
Run the numbers live. Let's see if this happens. See if this works. Let's see if this works or if I'm full of shit.
Okay, so what do you figure you're gonna get per month?
Between 15 and 20,000 during high season. During low season, between like 9 and 10.
Okay, so let's say on a year, what we're gonna average like 12.5.
Yeah, sounds good. That's an average good for every 12 months. Yeah.
Okay, so that's like 150,000 a year.
Yeah,
that's all right, man. Yeah, those
it's gonna work.
Nice
we don't even gotta do this. It's gonna work.
Yeah. So like 7,000 a year in taxes, you figure?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, insurance be like 3,500 or 3,000.
Yeah, 3,000 should be good. If it's on a flood zone, then you're gonna get smoked.
Well, it depends if you want that coverage,
Ask
right?
me how I know. We're in a flood zone in Naples, getting smoked.
Oh, really? Yeah. So all the new construction down there, you have to build above the floodplain now. So they actually bring in. So we bring in fill to actually raise our foundation.
Smart. See, in Naples, they didn't do that where I bought.
Well, it depends on when.
Yeah. My home was built in 2000, so.
Oh, okay, so a little older.
Yeah.
Maintenance wise, what are you budgeting there? So just 5% maybe?
Yeah, 5%.
That covers. So that'd be $7,500 a year. Do you figure that covers your landscaping as well? Or?
Yeah, 100%. Like I know that the landscaping is about $150 a month. The pool guy is about $100 a month.
Yeah,
so $250 a month kind of thing.
Okay, so that would include that. So all right. Utilities wise, what are you going to get into?
$200, $300 a month.
Okay, plus 300.
Wi-Fi's cheap down in the US. It's like $30. It's awesome.
Really, you can get 30?
It's crazy.
30
so good.
for
it's like 30,
good...
$40 a month for like your home internet. Here it's like $100. It's crazy.
Oh, I didn't know it was that cheap. Like that's the pimped out one that you would give to your tenants?
Maybe we'll go for the $50 one. Maybe.
Okay, management wise, is that going to be internal? Hire your own employees?
Not at the beginning. So I have a company down there that'll do it. They only take 15%, which is really good. Okay. Most company takes 25, 30%.
Yeah.
So he does 15%. So I want to use him for the first 5, 10, 15 we got going up. And then once we get to like that 10, 15 mark, then we'll hire our own people.
Sure.
So that'll go way down after that. But
okay. And then you've got like your consumables. Like what do you figure those will be like 100 a month, 200
a month, $150 a month. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just put in 1,200 for the year and that'll cover your miscellaneous stuff too.
Toilet paper, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. So your cap rate's almost 12%.
There we go. That's what I'm saying. So why would we invest in like apartment buildings here at a 3.6 cap rate in like Kitchener, right? Yeah. It's just crazy.
Okay, so financing wise, would you go to like a Canadian bank to get your first one financed, your first couple?
You could. I know a lot of people have done that, like with Scotia. I've heard Scotia is very friendly with doing that. I just went to an American lender right away. And it was, I'll tell you, to be honest, way easier. It was almost like the easiest mortgage I've ever had. There was some crap we got to go through, but it's so much easier. In a nutshell, to get a mortgage down there, it's 30% down. Show me where the money came from. Did it come from a legit source, not, bad places? And does the rent of the property exceed the expenses? If you can answer those 3 questions, that's it. You get a mortgage. No credit check, no nothing.
And this
I don't
is
care where you work.
institutional?
No. Yeah. It's like B lenders down there.
Yeah.
But the thing that's weird
Where'd you find this one?
From my realtor down there hooked me up with this lender, but like they're pretty easy to find. The thing about America is just like it's a true open market. Like it's literally like financing properties down there, doing business down there is just a billion times easier. It's just wide open.
Yeah, I've been dealing, so I like to work with one lender at a time. Like I don't want somebody, because coming from the mortgage business, I don't like it when people work,
For sure, 100%.
So I give one guy a chance and, tells me it's going to be a certain way. And then last night he calls me back and it wasn't that certain way.
Yep, exactly what I did.
So I got, more expensive. It was supposed to be a draw loan where I would only pay on what was drawn. And in the last minute, he's like, oh, okay, yeah, our partner wants it so that it's, he said, going Dutch on it. I take offense. I'm half Dutch.
Yeah.
But, anyways, so yeah, now full interest. So that basically doubles my cost of interest on the project.
Oh, man.
And I'm just like, is this really it? Like, because I had kind of a hard time initially. I had a couple of people just ghost me. And so I'm just curious. I should have talked to you about this sooner.
Yeah, I just found this on Mortgage Broker. I can definitely set you up with it after, see if it'll work. I don't know about like a new construction loan. I didn't talk to you about
that's
that.
The other wrinkle, right?
Yeah,
I think a lot
different.
of them don't like, that I don't have experience in the US. Like, it's like, you're new, you don't have credit.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have experience just in Canada. Yeah,
exactly.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know. I haven't even looked into that side, but I know buying like an already built property is like way easier. It's amazing.
What kind of interest rate?
So 7.125. But that was a month ago. If I were to do it now,
probably even more.
It's about 7.8. So it's way higher than Canada for sure. But we're getting the crazy cash flow like on this.
Yeah.
So it's all a wash in the end. And what I care about more at this point in my life is just speed and ease.
Yeah.
Getting a mortgage in Canada is just literally pulling teeth.
Yeah.
Documents, verify this, pay off your credit card that has $50 on it before we close. Like all these stupid conditions. It's just, I'm not even making that one up, man. Like down there, it's so easy. 30% down, show me where the money came from. That's it. I don't care. I don't care about your credit rating. I don't care about your income in Canada. I don't care.
Yeah,
it's
that's
wide
amazing.
Open. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll need to chat with your contact. Maybe you can do construction, maybe not. But it'd be worth getting like just a second opinion before I pull a trigger. Okay, but even that considered, if you're 775 on a 30-year AM, at a 70% loan to value. So that means you're in for 30%.
Yeah.
Which in this case is what, like 200? Yeah, not even. You're like in for 130, 140.
Cheap.
$4,400 a month cash flow.
What's wrong with that? And we're getting mortgage pay down still. We're still getting appreciation. Let's go.
That sounds way better than the numbers I was crunching. So
these are loose numbers.
Like, these are loose numbers.
Pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's different areas too, right? Yeah. Like if you're able to put that together, truly pimped out, then that's really the key factor. Now, what assumptions went into coming up with this $15,000 to $20,000 a month?
Yeah. So we talked to the property manager down there who specializes only like with these, right? So he's telling me like, I have rent. I have proof. I can show you the rent rolls from all the other ones. And so every property we look at, he sends us like a rent roll, a realistic rent roll of what this is rent for. And then we just do the numbers like this and makes sense.
Okay. So are you going to be trying to get your investor visa to go down there?
So not at the moment. Like we still have the 6 month snowbird kind of thing where we can just go whenever we want. Right. So like for us, like we're going to live in the Naples house between January 1st and May 1st. And then come back for the summer and then travel elsewhere in the world during the summer. So we don't really need to be down there.
To not be a tax resident in Canada if you just were away for an extra 2 months on that.
Yeah. So I've had conversations about this. I know it makes way more sense to become a U.S. citizen. And even if you live in Canada for 6 months a year and still do that, like it still makes more sense to be an American citizen and keep doing business and flipping in Canada as an American citizen. Yeah. I've heard it still makes way more sense to do that. I just got to figure it all out and see.
Yeah. Because, well, to my understanding, what you lose in Canada is, you'd lose the healthcare. Yeah. But you could still be here for 6 months less a day and not pay any taxes in Canada. Yeah. Which sounds way better to me.
Sounds way better. So we got to figure this out. We're working on it.
I think specifically for you, but you would still pay taxes on all your Canadian business activities, but just not on your non-Canadian income.
Which is what we're really starting to move now is to get out. I want that USD. I want to make USD money. So.
Plus, you get a credit in the U.S. for any taxes you paid in Canada, right? With the tax treaty. Not an accountant, but this is the information that's been given to me. So I mean that's kind of that's the approach for in my head. Like I still want to be able to come here. Yeah. Although the more ridiculous Canada gets, the less I want to come here. Yep. It's just like family, and I know you just built a house here. Like you don't really want to.
I know that's the thing. We just built our house here, so we're really hoping for the next government to be better. Really hoping for that.
Which one, federal or provincial?
Federal. Yeah, I mean, provincial's a gong show. Like, Jesus.
Federal's a gong show. Yeah, but I guess you're saying if one of the conservative candidates actually delivers.
Yeah, Pierre's my man. I'm going with
Pierre. Him, so. Yeah, or Roman. I don't know.
Roman's good too.
It's kind of divided,
Pierre's better.
I guess within the conservative party though, who cares?
They're all better than what's now.
They're
that's for
better,
sure.
than what's been. It's weird that they had such bad candidates for so long, and then now they have a whole bunch of
but pretty decent candidates. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
I don't know. I've kind of lost faith that a politician's going to fix this problem.
I've been let down so many times this past 2 years specifically, but even before that, you have high hopes and then literally nothing changes. So we will see.
So what's going to happen in Florida after you get these Airbnbs set up? You said you're going to be flipping as well down there. Using the contractors you found, or can I keep finding them?
Yeah, keep finding them for a bit, and then once we have like a foothold, then again we'll do the same system. We'll hire employees, do it all down there, and have an in-house team. So we want to really step on the pedal and do this like ASAP. I had plans now to really start scaling down there, but now we're kind of holding off the gas pedal because we want to see what's going to happen. I don't want to be buying losers and then in 6 months it's down less value, right? So I'm kind of just waiting and seeing what's going to happen. Kind of everything's going to fall, and then I'll get in. I'm thinking August, September, October. Most likely we'll know pretty much what's going on with everything. We'll know, is inflation finally coming down? It probably looks like it already is. Is how fast is it going to come down? Okay, well then we'll know what's going to happen in the next 12 months, 24 months.
Yeah, man, such a weird time.
Yeah, it sucks. I really want to just keep going hard on everything. And
that's exactly where I was at too. I'm like, I'm so sick. I watched all these people. I was taking it tentatively for the last 2 years just because I knew this was coming. I'm like, you cannot spend this way and shut people down and not have inflation go crazy. And I knew, interest rates are going to come up. Values to come back down.
Exactly.
I predicted that way back. So then I waited and I'm like, nah, screw it. We got to move.
We're going to go now. And then it comes in. It's like, oh my God. And it kind of came out of nowhere too. Especially the Canadian interest rate raise. Again, America is so much more open. They're just very transparent. They're like, we're going to raise rates on this day, and this day throughout the year. It's all mapped out pretty much the whole year of what's going to happen. In Canada, it kind of came out of nowhere.
You wait for the announcement.
Yeah, it was
they still do sort of indicate it, but then
it was like a week notice. It was like, we're going to raise rates next Wednesday. It was like, what?
Yeah. And as of right now, I believe the plan is still to raise them again this year,
in June, right? So
I mean, that they're going to see the devastating effect, but then you have to look at it like, are they going to compare us to the U.S. and say, well, as long as the U.S. is raising rates, we have to follow suit. Otherwise, our currencies go out of whack with each
they
other.
Have to. They're kind of forced to. Whatever America does, Canada really has to.
Yeah,
within reason, but they're kind of forced to.
Yeah, because it'll just make our dollar go to crap if we don't. I mean, I feel like our dollar is kind of in that range.
It's like the worst it's ever been right now. So how much worse can it get? I don't know, but geez.
Apparently it could. No, it's been a little worse. I think we were in like 62 cents at the worst that I can remember.
I remember that 4 or 5 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, it was a little while back.
Now it's like we're approaching like 68, 70
or something like that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I hope it comes back around. But then again, if we're making a whole bunch of money in the States and sending it back.
I just know that because I just changed over all my money to USD to buy this house, and I just got whacked on it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. How'd you send it over?
I just wired over to like an American account that I made down there.
Did you use like wise.com or something?
I just went to the bank.
Just went to the bank?
Yeah.
Okay. You can get better rates with Wise.
Yeah, see?
And actually, a guy reached out to me, and this is the even like if you really want to nerd out on IBKR. Apparently,
interesting.
You can, if you have an American account, you can actually convert money fee free. It's like $2.
Oh my God! No way.
Would you actually have that account?
Yeah, I have that account. Oh no way.
Next time.
There'll be more time.
There'll be more money going down there. All right. So Matt, what else are you excited about right now that you're working on?
Man, just the YouTube, just growing everything. Just growing the whole business everywhere. Flipping, buying, Florida.
People ever ask you what your why is?
My why is it was the total opposite. It's just like free living without stress. Just like money's good, abundant amount of money, and me working almost none, which is kind of what I'm doing now, to be honest. Like we built the team. I barely put in that much time because we're focusing on a family life. We just had a baby. So I'm taking kind of my parental leave in a sense. So it's been really, really good that way, but we're getting to the point where it's getting smoothed out and I just do very little in the business.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the goal. That's the why. And just spending time in tropical places, warm places, which is why we're going to Florida because we just hate the winters here. Yeah. So just being warm, money is abundant, happy employees, happy business. That's kind of our why.
I've always said similar things. Like for me, it wasn't one specific thing. Like I just want to be able to do what I want to do, like when I want to do. And like I feel like I'm Matt like 5 years delayed, like just finally realizing how to hire help. I'm probably giving myself too much credit, more like 8 years delayed. But finding out how to hire hire people so I can get my life back, right?
For
now
sure.
that I had a son as well, and
100%.
it's like
it changes for sure.
I knew, things could not stay the same. Had to do that. Now you already had a lot of that figured out beforehand, but
like as soon as Rachel got pregnant, I was like, okay, like I gotta figure this out. So we hired way more. Like I had 3 employees when Rachel got pregnant, and then we went from 3 to 13 like in 2 months. Okay. So I spent that whole 9 months of like building the business to the point where I don't have to do anything. I hired all the key people. So I just grinded that whole 9 months of finding the right people. Yeah. And then finally when Sawyer was born, it was like hands off. And it's been like almost a year now, and I haven't really done anything. Like I don't see the properties we flip. I don't see them when we buy them. I don't see them when they're done. I don't step foot in them. I don't.
So you'll have stuff go through your system without ever having set foot in it.
Yeah. The last like 20, 30 houses I haven't even seen. None of them. Yeah. We were in Florida flipping out. It was like, cool. Like I don't know where these are. Like,
so the money is just raised through your network.
Yep.
Secured. You signed digitally.
Signed digitally. So like when a deal comes in, like my acquisition manager will call me basically like, hey Matt, we just bought a house in Cambridge. We just bought a house in Hamilton. Cool. Awesome. Hang up. Then I email my guy Arfin. He emails the list. Hey, we just bought a house in Hamilton. We need $500K. People email him. He signs all the promissory notes. Money comes in. He verifies money came in. When we close, my project manager takes over. I don't see it. She runs the whole thing, designs the whole board because we've done so many. It's just rinse and repeat, all the same materials. She does the whole thing. When we sell it, or when it's done, she says, ready to sell. I get my video guy to go in, take videos, pictures. Then I list it. It's pretty much the only work I do is I put it on the MLS and we sell it. That's it.
You just got to get an assistant to handle your MLS. You're allowed to do that, right?
Oh, totally,
You just still want to have your... I thought you could have an assistant access.
You can. You have to register them. Yeah, totally.
So you just haven't done that part yet.
I haven't done that part yet. I'll just do it. It takes 2 seconds.
Okay. So you don't mind doing that part.
I don't mind doing that. It's fun. I can put it together. I can put it the way I want to put it together. It's my last bit of control.
You know what? But in fairness, that's probably like the touch that like helps it sell.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay, so as far as like financial control, I think you said you have somebody in your accounts like paying people and doing all that.
Yeah, I have 2 people, my project manager and my funds manager, both have access to my bank. So that was like the more like...
To everything?
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the hard one. That
was the hard one. I was like, I still haven't done that. These people, I got it. But you got to do it.
Yeah, how though?
What's worse can happen?
Oh yeah, that is. And I think we talked about this last time. So what is the worst that could happen?
Just take money and then you deal with it then. You sue them, whatever.
Yeah, sue them, yeah. I mean... I guess the worst would be if they like wrote a check or something that was really big.
Yeah, it's true. But at least like with the banking, it's an open ledger. Like we can see where the money came from, who wrote the check, where to go. Like
exactly.
Like you're gonna get caught easy.
You would get caught. Yeah, whoever they are, like they have to disappear real well, right? So if these are people that like and like they like, so yeah, that's a little bit of an unease. But I mean, the control freak in me is like that's the last.
For sure. That's my personal money. Yeah. It's my personal bank. Yeah, no, totally.
It's that's a challenge, but I mean, I think it's required to grow because sometimes in the week, like especially now with the campground, like I feel like I spend a half a day at least a week being a financial controller and bookkeeper, and I'm like,
you gotta get rid of that one for sure. Just hire someone to do that. I mean, you could make like a separate bank account just for the business, and they only have access to that one bank account.
Just
instead of seeing all your personal stuff.
That's.
I'm so comfortable with my people that they just see everything,
right?
Whatever.
Yeah. Now the banks, they have like a rule you can't share your card, but I guess like
I just get them their own card so they can do everything they want.
Can you do that? Though?
Yeah. She has her own card. She deposits checks.
Yeah. So
RBC wire
told
transfers.
me that I couldn't for my business. I have all my business with RBC, and they said that you can't do that.
I forget how I did it with her, but I had to like register her on the account. Yeah, she's good. Like it took half an hour. Like she was registered on it. She can do all decisions. with TD.
TD. Okay, I'm wondering if it's like an RBC thing, which I could totally see. They're kind of like that.
Yeah, TD's not that very friendly either. Like I really have to go to a better business bank. I haven't really found a business bank yet, but TD's also a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Do you do like you have all your direct deposit and everything set up with them, so you pay people like your contractors?
All of that set up. Like it works. It's fine. But like if we start growing, like we're dealing with TD with doing like 25, 30 flips a year. But I think if we start getting like 50 flips, 100 flips a year, like we need a more business savvy bank where we can send e-transfers from our computer instead of having to go to the bank. Like it's 1992.
Wire transfers?
Yeah. Like come on.
Yeah. so the American banks have that, right? I can just like do it right online, release it with my little key fob.
Yep.
Like I do, like you can obviously do ACH direct deposit though here in Canada, can't you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and we can do the wire transfers.
You can do that instead of a wire.
Yeah, you can, and you can do like but wiring lenders. Like when I'm done with the money we sell it, I'm gotta wire them like $500K or whatever. Like you have to go to the bank for that. Yeah, there are some banks where you can do the key fob thing, but it's only up to like $50,000 a month.
So like that you can change. So that with RBC, I've got it figured. So I've sent like $500,000.
Nice.
Like you release it with your little code.
Yeah,
you have the fob.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I could do that. TD doesn't offer that. I've asked for that. I've asked for private banking, like the business sector.
Yeah,
it's still not good enough for what I need. Like they even said, like you're beyond this. Like private banking won't even do this for you. So don't even bother. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's kind of like the next level. I'd say overall, like for business, I think RBC's been okay, but I mean, they're by no means a perfect bank.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. No, for sure not. Anyways, Matt, it's always good catching up with you. Tell people where they find you.
Yeah, find me on YouTube, Fruitful Investor. Find me on Instagram, Mat Piche, and on TikTok, Mat Piche.
Oh, TikTok now.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm on TikTok, guys. I'm being trendy.
Everywhere. Yeah, I mean, definitely check out Matt's social if you haven't. Like, you're on top of it like no one else. You kill it. Your teams, your systems, man, it's truly impressive. That's why I want to, anytime I can get you on here, we'll try and keep it up with once a year or something.
For sure. Definitely.
Because you're doing so much, we can cover a million different things.
100%.
Any words of wisdom? Because I know you give a lot of them.
Yeah. Biggest thing I always say is speed. You got to act quick. When you want to do something, when you want to act, or let's go buy in Florida, or let's go buy anywhere else. Speed is the most important thing. Too many people just like sit and think and overthink. Act. Just do it. Figure it out.
But there is that balance with not acting too quick, right? So how do you find that?
Yeah, get your foundation, like get your like basic knowledge of what you want to do, and just go. Like make mistakes. Go make the little mistakes.
Make the little mistakes, not the big ones.
Yeah, don't make the big ones. Like get an idea of what you're doing and then act and figure it out. You'll figure out the rest as you go. But you can never figure it all out through books or videos only. No. You need to get in there. So.
No, it's true. Like, I mean, I would say like the campground we bought this year,
way
out of my comfort zone.
That looks sweet, by the way. Yeah.
Way out. Yeah, man, you'll have to come up if you're ever interested in building more. But super out of my comfort zone. But it's like one of those things you just got to figure it out. Right? If you know something makes sense, you kind of work the rest out as you go, right? Which you've done a ton, right?
Yeah, like even with the whole Florida expansion, like I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I made mistakes. Got the wrong mortgage broker, like you said, the first time. Paid some money for an appraisal. That's garbage. So I lost, $1,500 there. It's just things like that. But you have to just jump in and figure it out. And now I got the whole team pretty much set up through trial and error.
That's super cool, man. Well, it'll be good to follow up with you on this and see how it's going in a little bit. Okay, thanks again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Please make sure to share this episode far and wide. Help it help more people. I really appreciate you tuning in. I'll see you on the next one.